Hi, welcome to International Organisations, Chapter 2. Big picture is questions in this area tend to be knowledge, so you basically either know the answer or you don't. So I usually joke with students that a key area here is to make lists and put the lists up on your fridge and test yourself on a regular basis. It's not difficult, but it's probably the hardest part, just remembering all the knowledge and what things stand for. Like UN, what is UN? Well, it stands for United Nations. So again, a good example of something that's not difficult. We can all work out UN stands for United Nations. The question is trying to remember them all and what do they do and what their roles are, etc. So that's the technique really in this chapter. The part the examiner has said marks will be given for briefly displaying some knowledge of the history and membership of the given organisation. So it is worth learning these, and they're not difficult. You just need to remember them. So okay, the first one is the European Union, the EU, established by the Treaty of Maastricht in 1993. It's previously was known as the European Economic Community, which was established by the Treaty of Rome in 1957, so quite a long time ago. Currently the EU is an economic and political union of 27 sovereign states. Its aim is to develop a single market by means of a standardised system of law which apply to all member states, and are designed to provide freedom of movement of goods, services, people and capital. In other words, no one country can override another one in terms of those four areas. They must allow freedom of movement, whether they like it or not. And obviously, as we've seen in the press, some countries are more or less keen on this and try to create their own little rules for their own political gain. But fundamentally those four things are meant to happen. Don't forget, of course, that in the economic union not every country has the euro, so currencies are not all the same, and that's obviously the big thing going on at the moment. But no, the European Union does not have European currencies throughout the 27 states. UK and countries like Romania and Sweden do not have the euro. Important institutions of the EU include the European Commission, European Court of Justice and the European Parliament. Their roles worth knowing about. World Trade Organization, sure everyone's heard of that one. What's their aim in life? Well, it's to try and sort out tariffs and trade. It was set up in 1995, based in Geneva, 153 members, which I think the World Organization is 230 odd countries in the world, so still a long way to go to get everybody involved, but 95% of the world trade is through these 153 member countries. Its aim is designed to supervise and liberalise international trade between participating countries. So it provides a framework within which countries can operate, and if there is any dispute, how that can be resolved by adhering to World Trade Organization agreements. If you are a member country, you are meant to follow these protocols. The World Trade Organization also closely cooperates with the IMF and the World Bank, as we've seen recently with the financial crisis, and how they're trying to keep the world economy on growth and not on retrenchment. It also provides important technical assistance to developing countries. The International Chamber of Commerce, based in Paris in France, established in 1919, so after the First World War. It was to serve the world business by promoting trade and investment, open markets for goods and services and the free flow of capital. It has around 130 countries and covers the vast majority of private sector enterprises, and frequently provides expert views to organisations such as UN and WTO. So again, helpful for the organisations we've just been talking about. Amongst its most significant work has been the establishment of the ICC International Court of Arbitration in 1923, which is where you can go if you have a dispute, and it can sort out disagreements. It also developed the Incoterms, which we will come and look at shortly, for the sale of goods, and have been the source of knowledge-based questions in their own right. So Incoterms you unfortunately do need to learn. There are quite a few of them, often tested, and often in their own right are tested. United Nations began after the Second World War, and currently almost every independent country is a member of the UN. Main objectives are international law, security, economic and social development, and promotion of human rights, and hopefully the maintenance of world peace, hence why it was formed after the Second World War. Regarding legal matters, it has the International Court of Justice, International Law Commission, and the UN Commission on International Trade Law. The last one was formed in 1966 in order to promote the progressive harmonisation and unification of international trade law, i.e. to allow countries to trade without disagreement, and they therefore have full understanding, which hopefully makes trade easier. 60 member states are elected to the Commission for a period of 6 years. Important outcomes of the Commission so far, as our study is concerned, have been the production of various conventions and model laws, which have included the Convention on Contracts for the International Sale of Goods, Convention on the Carriage of Goods, and Convention on International Bills of Exchange, and promissory notes, which is the ability to pay. Model laws have included international commercial arbitration, international credit, and cross-border insolvency. The Council of Europe, perhaps one of the most important things to note from an exam point of view is that the COE should not be confused with economic union. They're not the same thing. It's based in Strasbourg, founded in 1949 after the Second World War, and now covers most of the European continent and has 47 member states, whereas the other one had 27. So you can see it's a much bigger area that's covered. Its stated objective is to create a common democratic and legal area throughout the whole of the continent. So looking at fundamental values, human rights, democracy and the rule of law. Its conventions that are issued are legally binding on each member state, and that's important when considering your own national laws. International Institute for the Unification of Private Law, based in Rome, established in 1926, currently has 63 member states. It's an independent intergovernmental organisation whose stated purpose is to study the needs and methods for modernising, harmonising, coordinating private and in particular commercial law as between states and groups of states. So very similar to other things we've already seen, but slightly different role. It's tended to concentrate on production of conventions, but more recently has shown a preference to the production of general principles, legal guidance and model laws. Finally, other things to think about are the International Court of Justice, which hears international court cases, particularly human rights and war crimes. Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development, you hear quite often in the media, and the International Court of Arbitration, where you can take disputes to and hopefully have them heard outside of formal legal process. Okay, that's the end of chapter 2. See you on chapter 3.